Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Steffanie and I am the blogger behind brighterdarling.com. For those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. I make beauty videos and sometimes I make pregnancy videos because I am expecting my first baby once a week. So I hope you continue to enjoy my content, and if you have ideas for videos you want to see in the future, leave them down below. But in the meantime, today's video we are talking all about the new Bare Minerals Gen Nude eye collection. They recently revamped all of their eyeshadows from what I can understand and what I can see. They used to have the whole Ready line and I think those were really great, but I guess they just felt like it was time to kind of up the times and expand the collection and add some new things, change things up, because we always need to be evolving. So the brand released these 4 6-pan palettes that come in these kind of like marbled packaging in these kinds of boxes. They also released mascara, eye primers, brushes, and eyeliners. So I used one of the palettes, one of the eyeliners, the mascaras, and the brushes on my eye look today that you can fast forward to see the demo. But for right now, I want to kind of just talk through the products and give you my impressions on how they've been working for me for the last few weeks that I've been testing all this stuff. So, the first thing obviously are the palettes. They have 6 shades in all of them. All of them have a variety of mattes and satins and shimmers. So I will insert an image of the swatches of these, but just to show you here, this is Copper. The palette called Latte is more of your typical warm golds and oranges. The one I used today is the neutral palette. It's just kind of neutral. It's got some kind of warmth and a little bit of rosy mauve to it, but overall it teeters on the line of cool and warm. And then the last one is Rose, which is certainly the coolest of the bunch. Very light shades, some like smoky grays and things like that to go with the rosy pink colors. So what I really liked about these palettes, in addition to obviously I think the packaging is really pretty, it's like this, like I said, this marbled packaging, is they did something that I noticed Too Faced did, or maybe they always do. They included this little like how to use the palette with 3 different looks. You've got like a very basic fresh faced look, a professional, like a little deeper tone, and then you have like a dramatic look, and they included that for all 4 of the palettes. So if you're totally a newbie and you don't really know how to use eyeshadow or you're confused, they have some suggestions on what to do and how to use the palettes. So the next thing they released are this Love Every Lash Micro Defining Mascara. The Love Every Lash Mascara is a micro defining mascara. It's supposed to give you defined, fanned out lashes, intensely black, a mineral-based formula, and it's smudge, clump, and flake resistant with a very slim and slender brush. So this is the packaging. It's just like a standard white plastic tube with this very, like it said, thin brush. They also sent with this mascara their Lashtopia. Now I thought that this was already released, but maybe Lash Domination is the only one that they have right now, and I know that's very popular. It's a mega volume mineral based mascara. It has buildable volume, lifts and separates, another nourishing mineral based mascara, flake and smudge resistant, and it has all day wear. So out of the 2, I do prefer this one more because I'm definitely more of a volumizing mascara fan. The tube is much chunkier. It's like silver plastic, but it has like kind of like a metalish feel, and the wand itself is plusher and chunkier, and like the bristles are much softer too. So that's what's going to give you more of like a volumized effect, because this kind of brush will really just drop down a lot of pigment and product, whereas the other one is more firm and really will just define and separate. So I'm a big fan of mascara cocktailing when you have certain desires for your lashes. So I know a lot of us want length and volume, and honestly that's very hard for one mascara to do because the wands and the formulas are built to do just one thing. So a lot of times it's just very difficult to achieve what you want with just one mascara. So what I really like to do is use two. I usually will go in with a defining mascara first to really define and separate the lashes, and then top it off with a volumizing formula like this one to add the thickness and the fatness to the lashes. So this was great that they sent both because I was able to use that today to get the way that my lashes look. And yeah, these are also paraben-free, sulfate-free, phthalate-free, talc and fragrance-free. They're ophthalmologist tested and safe for contact lens wearers, which I believe the Bare Minerals mascaras are known for. Overall, the mascaras aren't my favorite per se. I like them, but I'm somebody, I've said this for a long time, that I do tend to purchase my mascaras at the drugstore. I think that the drugstore formulas are just as good as high-end, sometimes a lot of times even better. So although these are very nice formulas, and if the brand's like claims are things that you are attracted to, like the phthalate and contact lens safe and no parabens and things like that, if that's attractive to you, then these for sure are nice. But for me, I can do just fine with drugstore stuff. So the next set of products they included in this collection are their One Fine Line Micro Eyeliners. There are 6 shades. I will insert, again, swatches of the shades here so you guys can see what colors we're working with and what they look like. But they basically have a black, a light brown, a dark brown, a charcoal, a plum, and a navy. So honestly, they really did an excellent job of covering any color eyeliner you could possibly need. My favorite one is just the traditional Exact Onyx, the black eyeliner. They look like this, and this will explain why I don't love these so much. So they are micro fine. Like, look how tiny. Like, this is like a brow pencil. That's how tiny they are. The reason I'm not a big fan of these is because I don't tightline. So if you're somebody who likes to tightline like your upper waterline, you will love these because there's nothing that's gonna be this tiny. I think it's a good shade selection and good idea. It's just not what's best for me and what I do with my makeup. What I also am not so loving about this is because it's so thin and the eyeliner is fairly creamy, if you turn up even just a little bit too much, it will just knock right off and you have to turn up more again and use it, which kind of drives me a little crazy. The other thing that bothered me about this is I find that I can't, once you twist up product, you cannot twist it back down again. So you really have to be very careful at only pulling up the amount you need, because then you can't break it down again. And what I noticed is when I put the cap on and I couldn't turn it down, the next time I went to use it, it was smushed and like whatever I left out was completely torn out. Those are my 2 cons with the mechanics of the pencil. The formula itself is really nice, and again, I love the shade selection. It's just more of the mechanics. Okay, so the next thing they released, which is one of my favorites, is their Gen Nude Eyeshadow Plus Primer sticks/tubes. I don't know what you want to call these, but they're calling them multitasking creamy matte eyeshadows that prime and correct for crease-free all-day eyeshadow wear. They have antioxidants and they create the perfect base for eyeshadow while intensifying the color vibrancy and the wear, as any eyeshadow primer does. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these to choose from, and I'll insert a swatch of what they all look like. And these are retailing for 20 bucks. These are great as eyeshadow primers. I wouldn't really wear them on their own. That's just not my style. I don't like just having like an all matte lid, but you totally could, and then just put like a matte color through your crease and it would look really pretty. But what I like about these is they're like a very whipped moussey texture, and they dry down like powdery soft, but with just enough stick for your eyeshadow to adhere to. Whereas if you've tried like a MAC paint pot or like the Urban Decay primers, just any other primers, they do tend to leave a little more of a stick, and that's why you see a lot of YouTubers setting down the primer with a powder before they go on with their eyeshadow, which is usually fine, but that also then affects the pigmentation of your eyeshadow after. So These just kind of leave you with the perfect amount of stick, but yet they're still powdery smooth, so nothing's like skipping or dragging, and I think that they're really great. The last piece of the collection are these brushes they came out with. They have 3 with the eye collection. This is a shade and diffuse. Yeah, this guy is a dual fiber brush, and it's the shade and diffuse for loose, like sheer eyeshadow application. So if you're like a one color, slap it on your eyes and go kind of person, this is for you. What I like to use this for is blending under the brow bone, and you can also use this to just apply a wash of color all over your lid, as well as kind of buffing out if you went a little overboard on your crease shade. This is awesome. The next one is the Expert Shadow and Liner Brush. It's dual-sided, and it has natural bristles on this side, and the liner side is synthetic. I love the paddle shape of this brush. Both of these brushes, all of these brushes actually, are very soft. Also, this would be great as a concealer brush too because of the shape and the like density. The liner brush, equally wonderful, built perfectly, exactly what you want in a thin liner brush for not just powder liner, cream liner, smudging out pencil liners. It's a great brush. I have no bad things to say about any of these brushes. And then the last one is called the Blender, and it's natural hairs for blending eyeshadow. It's retailing for $18. It's your typical ponytail blender brush, but I really love this one if you have eye shape like me, that you don't have much lid, and it's important to really concentrate color in your crease when you're adding especially deeper shades, because this tapered tip, it's got a really nice taper that fits in my socket line really well and applies color, like the crease colors, so effortlessly. It's not as fluffy as some other brushes that I have that I really like when I want like a wash of like a mid-tone color, but for deeper colors, this is excellent. And again, really soft, not scratchy at all. Very well made brush, and I'm super in love with all 3 of these. That pretty much wraps up my little review of the new collection from Nude and Bare Minerals. Into the demo we go. Alright, so we're just gonna get into this toot. I'm gonna be using the neutral palette today. Alright, I'm gonna go in with Lit. You just see it brightens and evens out the skin tone on the lids. So nice. Let's go in then with that Mystic Bone color. And I'm using that Shade and Diffuse Fluffy side. And I'm gonna use this. Actually, I'm gonna use the mirror in the palette. I'm gonna use this to start right underneath my brow bone. After that, I'm gonna go into Native, which is just that taupe shade, with the blender brush. Dust it, tap it off, and go right through the crease. This is just a very basic look, but I think that's what Bare Minerals is known for. The everyday girl, everyday woman who just wants to look put together and pretty. Look how nice that looks, right? It just blends so nicely. On the other side. So focusing on that outer corner first where you put the color, and then buffing it windshield wiper motions through the crease and slightly upwards towards the brow bone. You shouldn't be getting color like up on the brow bone, A, because you put down the lighter color first, and B, because you're applying the most to the crease and then blending out whatever's left up towards the brow bone. So that's what gives the nice fade. So look how pretty that is already for the easy girl on the go. Okay, so after that, I went in with Believer. Just going to go into the other eye. So that's the color on the lids. I'm going to then go in with the shader brush again, the fluffy one, not the shader brush, the blender, and pick up Indie, which is just the darkest shade. We're gonna buff that into the very outer corner, and I'm holding the brush at the very tip so it's very loose and not too intense. And I pat that color on first. My bangs, I should have worn my little headband. And just deepen things up out here. all of them are really neutral and pretty, but definitely certain ones will be better for others. And then we'll go into, for now, we'll take a break, we'll go into the eyeliners. So I'm gonna go in with the liner in Exact Onyx, which is their black one. And sharpen up just a little bit. You can't pull these back, but and once I get the color on, I don't put the cap back on because it will ruin the pencil. I'm gonna take that liner shot side of the brush and buff it in and kind of smooth it out. Kind of wing it out towards the end. Got the eyeliner on the top lids. Let's go into the lower lashes. So what I'm gonna do is take the Expert Shadow and Liner Brush and go into Tribe, which is the other shimmery shade. It's a little darker in the palette. And smudge that on the lower lash line. And then take Native, which was that taupe shade that we used in the crease. You're basically just copying what you did on the top, on the bottom, in a more precise application. And then Indie, the darkest one, on the very end. Now that you have a little bit of color on the lower lash line, you can take your eyeliner and put that on the lower lash line. I'm just gonna put it in the waterline. So let's get into then the mascara. So what I like to do is go in with the micro defining first and define all the lashes because it's really thin, like the brush is really thin, and then go in with the volumizing side. Okay, so that's one application of the defining one. We'll go in with the volumizing one. And I've always been a fan of cocktailing my mascaras. I think you guys can tell a difference from what I can see in the camera. This definitely got a lot more volumized and thicker. Okay, so that is with 2 applications or coats, whatever you refer to them as, of mascara. So, with that being said, we're just gonna finish off the look with a little bit of lip color. That is the finished look. Very easy, using the Gen Nude Neutral palette. If I would recommend anything from this collection, for sure one of the palettes, either the Neutral or the Latte, which is of course the warm one that has like gold tones. I just think it's these 2 are gonna be like the easiest to wear if you're more light to medium tan skin tones. Totally recommend that. The Rose palette I recommend if you really love cool tones or you're very fair. And then if you're deep skin toned or like tan deep to deep, the Copper one is gorgeous. The primers, like these guys, Gen Nude eyeshadow primers, excellent. I think they did a great job at coming out with so many different skin tone colors to choose from, and I really love the way that they work with all of the different eyeshadows I've tried so far. The brushes, excellent brushes. It's very rare that a brand will come out with brushes that I like all of the new like releases, but these are hands down going to be holy grail staples in my eye makeup. So I think they did an excellent job at developing the eyeshadow brushes. The palettes are wonderful. The primers are great. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you found some products that you might be interested in checking out in stores, and it helped you decide if this is a collection you want to look at or purchase. So anyway, I'll see you guys next week. Have a good one. Bye.